Kom her. Kom her. Kom her. Charlotte. Ja. It is already a bit late and after sunset, but I think you can still see this very well. So here the Paulownia tree is going through the new fence. I think I will have to prune this so that the fence will not be impacted by the tree. So you see how this looks like from the other side. Something to do at daylight. And once the tree is high enough, then of course this will be a non-issue. I can also tell you something about this. You see this chicken wire there. So the hens have figured out a way to slip through the fence at another place to get there. They like it below the Paulownia trees. They are forest animals. And I did mention this in the previous video. So we closed all this as we wanted to protect the hens from the dogs. And they have been chasing chicken in the past. But then there is more insects or additional insects on the other side. And therefore they want to go there, which is understandable. I guess the moment I chop all this down, that will be less attractive. But then they might still want to come there. And because then there is less protection, the dogs might get interested. It is still too hot and they venture out when it's very hot. It's also cooler in there and the dogs are sleeping. And they are not really interested because they are not an intruder, they are more a toy. But the issue is that this is open. So that got forgotten. The chicken wire starts at the fence post. And so I think I'm going to close this. But not tonight, it's getting dark now. And tomorrow I should then remove the excess. They can still come in the farmyard, but in other places. And the other places are, for example, over there. But there's more vegetation, so it is less likely that they will try this. They don't tend to push through. They might try to slip under the door there, but I think they are now a little bit too big. The Goose Carlotta did this in the beginning. And see, here, well, you might have missed this. She's trying to get to the cat food. It's not for her, but she's very curious. And she's still out, despite the fact that it's past sunset. Seems like geese go to bed late. She will eventually go into the hen house, but she's always also kind of out from patrol. She wants to make sure that the surroundings are clear, which is a nice trait. Geese are territorial, and so that's what they do. So it's very interesting. I continue to think about what's the best strategy to irrigate new Paulownia trees And I mentioned this before, but looking at this, I think I can mention it again and explain the current train of thought. So you see the wobblers there, and you see the Paulownia trees. They are coming up quite nice. They are now, what is it? A month and a half, 2 months old. So we are at the beginning of August. Yeah, could be. And you also see the other stuff. That other stuff is helpful because it's roots in the ground and something is going on, which is positive. But then this is area irrigation. And area irrigation also helps with all these new oak trees here. And it also helps with the grass. So if there are grasses that are suitable for the current temperature, almost 38, 39 degrees Celsius, then they will germinate and they will also come up, which is good. So this gives ground cover. On the other hand, we do have another type of ground cover, all the dead grass. So I am thinking, or I continue to be of the opinion, that I should have drip irrigation lines that will only irrigate the trees left and right. Every 3 meters a tree, and then 2 mini sprinklers out of the 16 millimeter pipe. So that I get ample of water and nothing for the area in between. And once they are taller, then I should have wobblers for the alley between them. And the wobblers should be on short risers. So that's basically underleaf irrigation for the area, for the alley in between. And I think that makes more sense. Of course, this year will be nothing of that because it is far too late. I should probably prepare to install this during April. And then once the Paulownia trees are available and the temperature is high enough, set them in one go. And maybe also get some help so that this goes quickly. And then have this whole area filled. What I'm also contemplating is to add another water tank. I mentioned also this before, they're left of the chicken coop, so that it can irrigate 2 zones at the same time. Right now it irrigates basically the whole day and even into the early night. It saves water, it does, but of course it costs electricity. And if I do this with 2 holding tanks and 2 pumps and 2 rainbirds, then I can irrigate 2 areas at the same time, and therefore it should work better, because the more I grow the system, doing it in a sequence is not longer feasible. So I think that is something to get going for early spring, and then have it in place once the Paulownias have been set and need irrigation. So by early May, this area should then transform. And also I should do the very same thing over there, because there all this area irrigation is nice. We did this as a quick shot, but I think there I should do the very same thing with Paulownias. I planted a few, but the water might not be enough. Over there it's different, because this area for some reason is a lot moister, but I think also the grey water pond has to do with that. So I am watching and thinking about what to do next, and keep it at my scale, so what I can do. Because if you might remember, I don't want to have any employees anymore. Can't afford this either. Makes no sense. Unless they earn their salary. And that never worked out. So they have always been living off of my contribution, to put it that way. I'm not mad at anyone, it's just a matter of fact. And therefore, I need to do this at a different scale. Steady, but slowly. This is also something worth noting. So this grey water pond is now basically empty. Everything around took up the water plus the evaporation. So that is the rest that we have in here. There's the vetiver around. The vetiver is growing, but I have to say it's also not really thriving as one would expect. Over there, this other thing, the native, looks a lot better than the vetiver does. And the cattail is also very impressive. He's waiting for his food. And he will get this very, very soon. So let me show you here the other side, which is also empty now. If I move a little bit, if Mr. Cat allows me, then I can also show you the cracks that the bottom does have. So there you have it. So there's still some moisture there for the cracks, but of course the water itself is gone and it will not return until it rains, and it has not rained. So the summer is typical, but something is going on the surface. You see how this is green. So the area irrigation is good, but it requires quite a bit of water. And of course, if you get the trees growing first, then you have shade. And because of the shade, you will then need less water. So that is my thinking. Just do a first pass basically to get the trees to a certain height. So let's say 2 years. And then add the other things. So Paulownia trees first as a tool, and then everything else after 2 years. Or maybe in the second year one can begin, depending on how high they are and how dense the whole thing is. But I would say 2 years is a good point.